I
All right, so
made
we were joined all the way from the beautiful city of Paphos, Cyprus, all the way in the Mediterranean by my friend Kendra Murray Lucas and her husband David Lucas, founders of Lucas World Travel, YouTubers, and professional nomads. Really cool story. So we thank y'all so much for joining us. I've got a room full here with me at Velma Jackson High School. This is our entrepreneurship class, and we're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County Schools, Madison Central, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, the Academic Option Center, and our YouTube channel. So we don't have near as many subscribers as you, but we have our channel as well.
excellent. Got to start somewhere.
Just get
Yeah,
it
and
started.
like we said, it's 9 p.m. over there in the Mediterranean, and it's 1 p.m. here. So really, really cool that we're able to do this, and we thank y'all for fitness in your schedule today. Now, before we get into all you guys do, because you guys create amazing content, just selling products. Me and Kendra graduated together at Madison Central 25 years ago. My camera keeps messing up here. 25 years ago. And I'm just going to go to my other one. Sorry. Because that's going to mess me up. Let me go to my other camera. Hold on one moment. All right, so we're back with after our technical difficulties. But Kendra graduated with me at Madison Central High School. Then you went to Colorado College. And David, I know you went to the great HBCU there in Nashville, Tennessee State. And then you guys were both in the healthcare industry in the Nashville area. And then this whole journey started. Now, Kendra did give me a few years ago how this began and how you began to fund it because I was always really interested. So just give us a little background on that because both of you had great careers in the healthcare field there in Nashville.
Yes. So, what came about is for me, I was just ready to do a complete about face career rise. I've always loved to travel, and um, I was always into YouTube as well. So I was watching other people on YouTube become travel vloggers and do what I wanted to do for a lot less money than what I thought it cost. So I decided that, hey, I want to, take a couple of years off, see how this goes, try the YouTube thing. So the way we were able to finance all of that is that we had a home. So we sold our home and had enough equity in our home that it financed our trip for the last 5 years. And then we also had passive income from an English course I teach online. But for that course, I made it in 2016 and I don't have to do anything else. It just sells by
Wow.
itself. So that's one entrepreneurship business that I created
Wow.
through education. And then now I have the YouTube, which is like my little baby. I love it so much. And I've grown from 0 subscribers 5 years ago to 20,000 subscribers. So I am still considered a small YouTuber, but the goal is to eventually get up to 100,000, hopefully in the next, 3 to 5 years. But it's been growing faster and faster every month now. So YouTube is one of those things that you do, and it's like you see almost no results, and then all of a sudden, it's like it keeps getting faster. It's a snowball, and it's just crazy how it works. Like even though this is what I wanted, I still look at my analytics. I look behind the door to see how the channel's doing, and I'm just always so surprised. Like, oh, I can't believe this happened this month and what's going on with that. So it's really fun. And I mean, who wouldn't want to have their career be, travel, document, and then share? So I'm really enjoying that. I'm still not where I want to be completely with the channel, but it's exciting. It makes me happy every day.
Yeah, because just in the last few months, you guys have been to Japan, you guys have been to
Mm,
Dubai, you guys are currently in Cyprus. You spent over a year in Thailand during the pandemic. You've been to
right.
Iceland, you've been to Malta, you've been to Czech Republic. Just it really has been quite incredible. And then while you're doing this, you're creating content and you're giving travel tips. Simple
Right.
things like how to pack a suitcase, when's the best time to go to certain areas, how to find public transportation in certain places, going to places that maybe aren't as crowded for people that want a tourist experience, but not a commercial experience. So you guys really hit all the areas that people would want to see, and you get to live out the vacation at the same time.
Right, exactly. And when we first started, it just goes to show you how your journey changes. Like as travel vloggers, we started really quickly, spending like 4 days per location. And now we're like, that was tiring. That was exhausting. Couldn't keep up with the pace.
Yeah, that'll
So
wear you out fast.
now
That'll wear you out fast.
we're like, we're going to spend a month in each location. So we got to spend a month in Tokyo and
Wow.
a month in Malaysia. And now we're spending a month in Cyprus. And next month it's a month in Malta. So it's just
Wow.
awesome that we can create the life we want to by doing content creation. So
Yeah, and you have a great video that we'll share about when Americans travel. With the Charles Schwab idea, I'd never heard of that. Simple money
oh,
tips save people money, and and recently had the video about you guys stay 10 nights in Dubai for free by using points that you accumulated. A lot of people don't know about these programs. So,
right.
what are some ways that you've researched getting to reach the market because you wind up saving people tons of money? And the more money you save, the more the content's going to pick up, and that means more viewers for you.
Right. So, just like everybody, we find this information out through trial and error, also from other YouTubers and reading articles. But it's one of those things, it's almost like you can't believe it until you do it for yourself. So it's like, what are these people talking about with the points? Let me get this credit card and see how it works for myself. And then you like go through the process and you save up these points and you use them. And like I literally was in the hotel in Dubai as like, okay, let's see if they really let me stay here for free with these. Because I didn't believe it until like I checked in and checked out and they didn't charge me anything. Like, this works.
It's like, yeah, come on, come on, come on. They're not stopping us. Come on.
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
Yeah.
Because this was so it's like $220 a night to stay in this hotel. So over 10 nights, that's $2,000. And I was just like, there's no way this is
Wow.
real. Real. It's crazy.
Really
Wow.
real.
Yeah, and you guys have tried, and you guys do a lot about the local cuisine for the people that are foodies, for people that may have dietary restrictions. You talk about what they can and can't eat. You guys, when it's winter here, you guys have been in the southern hemisphere. You guys, it's really, really all the different perspectives of places that like I said before we started recording, I went to Mexico for the first time. I've been to four
Mm.
countries, but I don't know a lot of people that have been to over 60 or 70 like you guys have been. So it really is something really cool. Somebody, right here from Mississippi, Madison Central High School, and now you're literally traveling the world. And there's been great videos of you dancing in Thailand, and you guys spent a few months in the Caribbean. So it really is something that is different. And I know you mentioned that you'd seen travel bloggers, but obviously, if somebody's going to be an entrepreneur of any sort, you've got to find something different. So you guys, like you said, the trial and error, you've done some things that maybe you think people might be looking for. So where do your ideas come on things to cover in your videos?
So mostly the ideas come from things I want to do. So it just starts from what interests me the most. So for example, a part of our scheme of why we started the channel is to explore 100 countries and to figure out where we want to live at the end. So
Wow.
so for example, I've always wanted to live abroad. So that's why we started the channel, started this journey. So for example, coming up this year, I'm excited because we're going to spend a year in Africa, spend a year
Oh,
exploring the countries there. Like maybe
so
we want to
jealous.
live in Africa. I don't know. So part of it is just my own curiosity around about the world. What do I want to learn? And then once I learn something, it's easy to share those tips and knowledge because there's so many people who are interested in travel, but they're a little bit afraid. And there's so many unknowns when you travel. So if you can break down all the little details that you feel like, well, when I arrived, I didn't know this. This didn't make sense to me. So let me share that with other people. And also, also get inspired by the other people in my field, the travel bloggers as well. So I was like, oh, I can do that, but in a different way and switch it up as well. So it's always twofold, my own curiosity, and I also get inspired by other people as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to
Oh, go ahead,
interject
David.
on that point. I want to interject on that point because I don't want everybody to think that we just know it all, so we can
Mm,
go anywhere we want, you know. It doesn't happen that way. We actually find out a lot about a place once we actually arrive there. We try to be knowledgeable. We try to know as much as we can about the rules of each country and different things that we want to see and experience. But once we actually get our feet on the ground, we meet people who say, hey, you need to go here, you need to go there, you
the
haven't
locals.
checked this out yet, you need to check this out. Because the locals are going to tell you of all the great spots you can go to. The internet's wonderful,
Mm,
but the locals are going to tell you some of the best places you can go to eat, some of the best places you can go to experience the things you want to experience. And so, we don't claim to just know the gambit as far as the whole world where I can go and
mm,
everything that we can see. We just may say, hey, this is a country I'd love to go to. I might throw some things out to Kendra. She might throw some things out to me. Kind of we weigh it out and say, okay, well, this is affordable. We can try this one next, or these we can go this series next and see how this works. But most of it that we kind of learn on the go. Like even here in Cyprus, there were some phenomenal places that we went to. But as you go there, you learn so much more than the history books or any other thing that we've
Yeah.
experienced in the States could ever teach you. You're going to learn from the locals. They're going to tell you, if you ask, they're going to tell you exactly what went on and what went down and how a place became how it became. I was super fascinated about Japan. Japan has been a place I've always wanted to go to.
Oh, me too.
China, the same thing. So when we got to Japan or South Korea, the people will literally be sitting right next to you and we're trying to eat a meal and they say, no, 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 you should eat it this way.
mm.
And they start putting the ingredients in for you and show you. And then you're like, oh man, this is fantastic. Thanks, because they live it every day. So they're going to teach you all the cool things about their home,
Wow.
so you get to
That
learn
is so
stuff.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you guys make content, and because again, I have so many kids that think this is just some easy get rich quick scheme, and they think they all can do it. And obviously, it can be done because you guys are doing it. But obviously, you guys, when you have maybe a 20-minute video, how much footage are you actually shooting and then going in and editing? Because obviously, you're not using everything, and then there's no way you guys are great speakers, but there's no way somebody's going to get the script right on the first try every time. So, how many tries does it take when you're creating this stuff because it is a very long process.
Yes. So to be honest, like what you see on my channel is not everything that we've seen, all the countries we've been to. There's like almost a year or two of locations we've been to that I haven't had time to edit. So I'm
Wow.
years behind.
Yeah.
But I went ahead and edited the stuff we've done this year just to stay on top of that. But it takes 20 to 40 hours to edit one of our like things to do in this location video. And I don't know, maybe I have maybe an hour or 2 hours worth of footage per location, and then you edit it down to 15 to 20 minutes. And really and truly, we don't do many takes of like what we're saying. Mostly, I'll do a voiceover of things. Like I'll say, now we're going to take you to Tokyo and show you this. And I'll just have all the footage with there because it is hard to just speak
Yeah,
off the and
absolutely.
yeah, but really we don't do many takes. Like I'll just say, okay, now I'll show you this, and then I'll show you this. And I keep it simple in that regards. So even if I stutter quite a bit or make a mistake, I'll just repeat it over again. But I'm never trying to talk too long on the camera, at least for me, because my channel's not really about me. It is about me a little bit, but it's more about the destination and sharing the travel tips. So I'm not like a true vlogger in the sense that I'm not making it about my daily life. I don't think anybody cares about my daily life, but they care about the destinations I'm going to. So I like to share
Well,
that.
the people that have known you a long time do, because I like to live vicariously through you guys. So it really is cool. Now, before I get to their questions, something I think is important because obviously you guys had a great plan before you went into this. You guys had great college degrees, you had education, guys had great careers, and you managed your money correctly to make this happen. You put it, you know, you guys worked hard. You were working in the healthcare field. You didn't just wake up one morning and say, "Hey, let's go to India." You had a plan, just like any other business, to say, here's what we're going to do, here's the steps we take. It's not just something that happens overnight. So
Mm.
talk about the process of that because you know everybody's not going to want to be a professional traveler, but a lot of people want to start a business. It really does take a lot of planning and a lot of things we don't see before it ever happens. So what are some other steps you guys take and took, and how long did that process take?
So the process to start, it really just came down to feasibility. Like you have to start at the level you're at. So you're
Mm.
looking at what do you have to invest in a certain project? Do you just have time, or do you have money to invest in buying equipment and things like that? So for content creation, the good thing is that the barrier to entry is very low. You can start with your cell phone only. That is the only thing you need, and you just find something you're passionate about sharing with somebody. So you can do, like, we chose travel, but you can choose any topic. And so, and for YouTube, for example, that platform is one of the platforms that has the highest paid rate. So it's a good platform to be on compared to like the other ones like Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, which are also coming up in the revenue you can get from them. But so far, YouTube has been the most stable for us and the one we enjoy the most. Um, but I feel like although my chosen mode is just content creation only, I feel like all entrepreneurs can use YouTube as a way to promote their business. It doesn't matter if you're going to be even a lawyer. There are loads of lawyers on YouTube promoting their business, and that's how they gain customers, how they show their expertise, so that when they try to get new clients, for example, it's really easy for them because people have already spent hours with them on the internet looking at what they had to say about a certain topic. So it really doesn't matter what field you're going in. If you're doing, fashion, um, there's a spot for everybody on the platform, which is really nice.
Absolutely.
Mm.
I would say that it also, I mean, you can start with your cell phone and a basic microphone, or just use your cell phone by itself if you have a good idea or you just want to
Mhm.
start. Because here's the thing, I think, Kendra and I both, before we got into this, we knew a little bit about business. Kendra had a salsa dancing business
Mhm.
also. I had a real estate business also.
Yeah.
So we knew what it would take discipline wise and over time what it would do to actually build a channel. Now she takes on pretty much all of that. I mean, you'll see my pretty face in the videos, but she's doing, I mean, I'm really proud of her because she's doing the labor of love. I'm studying for something else, but she's really, this is her labor of love. This is her baby, you know. And so, and I love it. We love to travel. And so it's wonderful. It works for both of us and it works for our relationship. But for those out there who are thinking about starting something like this, just understand that the way YouTube works is you have to do it consistently. It's a discipline thing. And the cool thing about it is it can be something very fun. Say you want to do makeup or you just want to do music or you want to do
Mm.
whatever your hobby is. You can do that with a platform like YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or whichever one you want to do. But the key principle behind it still is discipline. It's a weekly or a daily or
Mm.
And honestly, it starts out as a lot of fun, but then after a while, it can become a lot of work.
Yeah.
So you have to have that in you to say, I'm just going to do this. This is what I want to do. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to ride it out and I'm going to be committed to it. It'll pay off. But that's like anything you do,
Mhm.
right? If you're a mechanic, you're not a mechanic today and then you're not a mechanic tomorrow. You're going to be a mechanic every day you get up,
Yeah.
whether you like working on that engine or not. So YouTube is the same type of principle. Any type of business is going to take some discipline, some hard work. It's going to be good days, it's going to be bad days. Like he said, you're going to have some good takes, but you're going to have 50 takes that are horrible and you got to redo it and you got to keep redoing it. Because we look at people on TV sometimes and we think, man, they just got it so easy. Well, it's not that it's so easy. They've got a whole team of people that does their makeup and their this and set up their set and do the whole. So I just recommend that someone, especially if you're a teenager and you want to get into something like
Mhm.
anime or cartooning or talking about comic books or talking about whatever you want to talk about on YouTube and create your channel, that you just do it consistently and you just
Mhm.
pour your heart into it. Okay. And just be willing to take pennies, if nothing at first, to just say, I got to learn how to do this
Mhm.
because it's the same thing, you just got to learn it.
Yeah, for our channel, for example, it took maybe 2 years before the channel was even monetized.
Yeah.
So you're putting videos out every week and you're seeing small growth. You're not getting any payments at first. So it really is a labor of love for a while. So that's why it's important to start as soon as possible so you can really start to see that growth before um, because like even if you start at this age with permission naturally, uh it's good. It's good because then you can already be well on your way to discovering, do I really like this? Is this something that I'm passionate about? And do I see the growth that that I would want to see if I could become that bigger channel, bigger YouTube
Awesome.
creator.
Well, I do have some questions from the students. I'll get to as many of these as I can, and these are really good. This first one is Christopher Mitchell. He's in 10th grade, one of our basketball players and on our track team. And he asked, what has been the hardest part about finding the next place to travel to?
Huh. So finding the next place, the only hard part is finding affordable plane tickets. So as long as we find an affordable plane
This is
ticket,
true.
we will go anywhere. Um, but other than that, making the decisions of where to go, like the world is so big, I feel like we're curious about a lot of different places. So uh, we just go wherever we're curious about, even if it's just a little bit. So
Wow.
it's
Uh,
mostly the financial side of seeing where we can afford to go.
yeah, and you have videos about that, about how you figure it out and how to save money when you do it. So
Mm.
when if anybody has any questions, you guys have got them. You got the answers. I like this one. This is Cameron Sutton. He asked, "What has been your favorite place you have gone when it comes to the value of money you spent?"
Ooh, I want to start with that
Okay, go for
one.
it.
Okay. Um, Probably one of my favorite places in the world to have gone was Japan. I've been to China, like you said before, we've been to Iceland, some really iconic places, but Japan is a totally different world. It really is. And it's not made up. It's the way they live.
Mm.
The way the people live in Japan is so different from the way we grew up and live in America. And so it's just a beautiful, beautiful culture. It's so rich in history, and the stuff is so fun. Like you can do things in Japan that should be illegal, but they're not. Like we took go-karts, man, and we're streaming through Tokyo in go-karts. And it was just amazing, So
I agree with
stuff
that.
like that, going to seeing the samurai swords and all that kind of stuff,
Mm.
it's beautiful, it's wonderful. For me, that is Japan. Yeah.
And for me, it's still the Galapagos Islands in Ecuador because that's a place where you can see a lot of wildlife and you can swim with sea lions and swim with sharks and swim with turtles. And I just love swimming with wildlife. So that was just the most special, magical place to go to me.
Man, that's awesome. I like this one. This is Tyler Myers, one of our football players, and he asked, "How has the extensive travel changed your perception of other cultures?"
Ooh, that's a good one. You start.
For me, it's interesting because we come up with many different ways to live life. So as we travel, there's some things I take from the culture and adapt into my life permanently. And some things I like try on and then I decide, no, I don't really need to keep this in my life. And some things I just flat out disagree with. But like for example, when you're in Asia, the thing is to take your shoes off before you go into the house. And it's like I have adopted that permanently. I agree 100%. But like there's just some things that
Yeah, we do that now. We
do
do
this
that.
better.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just innumerous numerable things that have happened that come up that way that we just like hold on to or enjoy about what we learn from other cultures.
Yeah, and a big thing for me, I know Ramadan is starting in just a few days.
Mm.
To me, that would be incredible. And
Yeah.
I always tell my Muslim friends, save me a plate, man, because they make so much food.
Mm.
Always enough for everybody. So, getting to enjoy things like that would be really cool for me. Or if, getting a Diwali dish in a Hindu country would be really cool as well. So stuff like that to me. I mean, I know I've lost a lot of weight, but I'm always going to love to eat. That's never going to change. I got time for just two more. This is Edward Flowers. He's in the band, and he asked, "What is the most unfortunate thing you've happened while you've been traveling, and how did you get through it?"
Oh, okay. So while we were in Peru during their political unrest where they
Oh,
arrested their
yeah.
Oh
president.
yeah,
And that was so dramatic.
That
Like
was
we arrived over Christmas and they took a holiday. So they took Christmas and New Year's off. So we had this false sense of calm. And then they started their protests back up January 4th.
yeah. Wow.
It was so uncomfortable, like, because the protesters would block the roads and they had the military presence. And the big thing to do in Peru is to go to Machu Picchu. And we almost
yeah.
didn't go. And we didn't get to go to Mountain because the protesters were so
Adamant.
bad. And they were literally about to beat up our tour guides. So it hasn't always been, smooth sailing. And, even in the US, right, there'll be, very severe protests, January 6th, for example. So that can happen in any country. It's just that sometimes you just happen to be there, at that one moment when they're having their big unrest. So, yeah, that was crazy to see. But I think that was the most dramatic thing that we've experienced while we
Yeah, I would
traveled.
agree with that.
Mm.
Yeah, that
Well,
was
you
rough.
guys did get to see Machu Picchu, though, right?
We did. We
Absolutely.
Oh,
did.
I'm so jealous.
It was worth it. It was worth it. You know, some of you guys have probably seen Transformers with the, and they were at Machu Picchu area when they were in Cusco when
Yeah.
they filmed that. And we had just been. So when that came out, I was like, oh my goodness. But yeah, so and it's beautiful and definitely worth going, and stuff like that. So yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward when you guys finally get to go to Chichen Itza like I did. I'm looking forward to seeing that video because I can't believe I've been somewhere you haven't. But I'll take that one for me. I got one in my column and 10,000 for yours. All right, I got time for one more, and this is a good one. This is Tadavian Smith. He's also one of our band members, and he asked, "How much longer will you travel? And when you settle down, where will you be?"
Oh,
Okay.
that's a good one.
So we don't know. We said when we left it was going to be 2 years, but this is year 5 and we're still out here. So we don't know. But we just go however long our curiosity and our energy for travel is going. The plan is 1 more year in Africa and then settle down somewhere. Next
Wow.
month, we're going to Malta because Malta has been my favorite country so far. and I want to spend a month there to see if it's a place that I want to live. So I'll make a video about that, about how is this really, because the first time we went, we only spent 7 days, and 7 days is not long enough to see if that's a place you want to live. So this time we'll spend 30 days, and hopefully that will help us decide a bit more whether we can find, community, whether we can find a neighborhood we like, and see if it's some place we can really call home. But we also didn't want to skip Africa, so we want to explore Africa before we make our final decision on where we want to live. So we
Yeah.
already know that Thailand is a place we can live. Malta might be a place we can live, but we haven't explored Africa enough to know whether or not it's a place we could live or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know, we're together so much. We're together 24/7,
Mm,
right? So a lot of people tend to think that because of our personalities, that we obviously want to be in the same places, right?
mm.
But that's not necessarily
Oh,
true.
that's true.
Like, so Kendra has places that she just loves, and I might love them too. So, and vice versa. So I could live in Tokyo,
Mm,
but Kendra would struggle there.
mm.
I mean, Tokyo is beautiful, it's wonderful, it's clean, it's all these great things, but it's also very, very busy. And she
Yes.
likes the quiet of Tokyo.
Well, no, for me, it's just the apartments are so small, they're tiny. And for me to live someplace, I couldn't live in a shoebox of
Yeah.
an apartment
Yeah.
for the rest of my
Yeah.
life. So I actually like the busyness. It's just the tiny apartments I couldn't stand.
That's
That's
a big
all.
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we both love Malta. That's why we're going there next month to see if we can really live there. We both love Thailand, so we already know we can live there. And I also love a place called Porto, Portugal. It's gorgeous.
Yes. Yep.
Porto, Portugal. Now, a lot of people like Lisbon, but for me, Lisbon was not nearly as nice as Porto. So I really like that area of the world. There's also some places in Spain. So, it's just that type of thing. But we're actually looking to see, hey, you know what? Let's go there. Let's see if this place we can make it a home, at least a home base. It doesn't mean that we're going to stop traveling. It just means that this will be our place, and then we'll go from there. That'll be our hub type of a thing.
That's so cool. Well, we're almost out of time, and we thank you guys for staying up late for us over there in the Mediterranean. But a few things before we go. First of all, lucasworldtravel.com and Lucas World
Right.
Travel on YouTube is the channel. That's your website. Always putting out great content, even if you don't plan on traveling right now. So many great tips, so many interesting videos. You guys have been so many places. So if you're thinking about going somewhere, you guys have probably been there, and you can give
Mm.
such a great insight on it. So encourage everybody to subscribe to that and go to your website, or anywhere else that they can find you guys online.
Right. YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find us there.
Yeah, and if they have questions, they could just leave us a question in the comments.
Mm,
So, yeah, we'd be happy to answer.
mm.
Awesome. Now, the last thing before we go, and Kendra, I know I speak for so many people when I say we are just so proud to call you part of our class at Madison Central. It really is great to see all the cool things you're doing. And David, it was, and I appreciate you being a part of this. We get to have married couples on here from time to time, and it's always cool to see. But the last thing before we go, obviously, everybody's not going to be a world traveler. Everybody's not going to be an entrepreneur. Everybody's not going to be a content creator. But you guys have done something really interesting and really fun that you have a passion for and created a business out of it and created a lifestyle out of it. So if these kids are kind of on the fence about doing something like that, what can they do to take that step to have that confidence to be just as successful as you guys?
Mm. Uh, I, like I said before, I'd say it's just start today. And your confidence builds with each video you make. So even if it's just a short, hold your phone, make a reel for Instagram, start there. And the more you just start talking to the camera, the more you just start sharing your opinion. Also, it's helpful if you're like, how can I make this more interesting? Because it's always when I ask that question of my own videos that the video quality improves. So I would say just keep on asking, how can I make this more interesting? And you'll find out whether, you have the skills and the talent in order to make it with content creation.
I
Love
would
it.
add, I would add to that just use whatever your thing is. Use your imagination. Just just sit in a quiet place sometimes and meditate and use your imagination and just see what comes to you. Some people are born with that thing where they know exactly what they came into this world to do, and some people aren't. And those people like me were just lost. And you're wandering around trying to figure out what you're trying to do. And I just had to sit and be quiet and let those things come to me. And just from using your imagination and trying. And then the other thing is be willing to fail.
Mm.
Be willing to fall flat on your face. Be willing to be embarrassed. Be willing to be shamed. Be willing to let people pick at you and pick at you and pick at you, but never give up on the thing you want. Never give up on what you want because we're not all the same and we don't all want the same thing. And what you have may not be for me, but what I have may not be for you, but it doesn't matter.
There
We
you
all
go.
here to live the best we can live. So be willing to fail, be willing to make those mistakes. And remember things like this. Michael Jordan didn't make his high school team. He just didn't get picked. And then he became one of the greatest basketball players of all time, right? So we all have to be willing to fail and stumble and fall and get back up and stumble and fall and get back up and just keep trying until we get it. And sometimes it's just like that. You don't know what you're doing until you're doing it,
Mm.
you
Love it.
know?
Love it. Well, hopefully next year we can get you guys again from somewhere in Africa because that would be really cool as well. So we thank you
Absolutely.
guys so much for joining us over there. I know it's
Absolutely.
getting late over there from all the way from Paphos, that's it right, Paphos, Cyprus,
Paphos, Cyprus.
over there in the Mediterranean. We thank you guys so much for joining us, David and Kendra Lucas, Lucas World Travel. You guys get some sleep. Talk to you guys later.
Okay,
Thank
thanks,
you. Thanks
Greg.
for inviting
Bye.
All
me.
right.
Good luck,
I'll see you,
everyone.
Bye,
buddy.
guys.